Welcome to this fall series of healing conversations in 2012. I'm Loren Gailey. I'm so happy you could join us. This season, we've got a lot of great information to share with you that will expand your consciousness and open your heart. All of the 24-plus speakers that are gathering for this season are quite impressive, as you'll learn. You can help spread this new paradigm information around the world by inviting your friends and loved ones to listen in. This is a fascinating fall season of 2012, the final countdown to December 21st, 2012. We're so happy you can join us, and we welcome your feedback and comments on every show. Today we are talking with Soluntra King. She is of the website evenstarcreations.com. She is a very special person, as we're going to learn today. Soluntra, welcome to Healing Conversations.
Thank you, Lauren, and greetings and blessings to all the listeners out there.
We have you here today from New Zealand. We're so grateful that we can connect this way over technology. Now, you are most well known for your book on crystals, but you also do so much more. So let's start with how you became awakened. What was that process like for you?
I really didn't just wake up. I suppose I was always awake. I never wanted to do anything third-dimensional, even as a child. And it was just a gradual process, I suppose. I mean, I was sitting in the Himalayas when I was in my early 20s, and just then I just knew how to meditate and do yoga without anyone showing me. And then I just started working with the energy grids. I came back to New Zealand and I learned to be a naturopath and guide to inner healing. Then I just kept working on myself, going inside, meditating, doing yoga, doing everything I could to clear myself. And as you know, as you clear yourself more, you open up the pathways to being much more aware. And because I lived with nature and worked, and I made flower essences, gem essences, star essences, I used to make herbal tinctures and things. I just knew how to work with crystals. I didn't learn it from anywhere. And back in those days, there weren't any books on crystals. I don't really use crystals anymore, because to me they were a stepping stone to your own inner consciousness. They're beautiful gifts from Mother Earth that teach us how to really listen into ourselves. And we are the crystal, just like we are the pyramid, we are the vortex. So it's just been a process, I guess, and I've travelled. I spent my whole life. My focus has really been to just be who I truly am, to be at peace with myself, to have an open heart, and to just be of service here on this planet. So because I've just had my focus on that and not in the third dimensional world, I've just put all my energy into that. And so, of course, you get a lot of gifts because of that. And I've spent all my life helping other people, being of service. At first, it was more in the smaller sense of doing healings one-on-one with people. Then it was more through workshops. Then I got triggered to write books. The first book was on crystals because I used to use them a lot, but I've written a lot of other books. And so now I work more in the bigger picture, which is very sort of not very tangible to most people, but it actually helps for everyone to raise the level of consciousness on this planet, which I first started working with in the early 80s, was on the crystalline energy grids. So that was the focus, was to get the crystalline grid really humming along and in harmony, because of course that really helps raise the consciousness of humanity. Then I started to connect into the golden solar discs, which are beautiful golden solar discs that were used in the last golden cycle, when we were really connected to our divine presence, our God I Am self within us. And we were in balance with all of our galaxy, and we had the stars aligned through all the vortexes, through the standing stones, the pyramids, and all the beautiful energies around the planet. Everything was in harmony. Then, of course, we had to experience coming into the physical plane, and through that, of course, the earth shifted a lot, and we got denser and denser and got more and more into fear. So we lost that awareness and that connection. But now, of course, as you know, we're waking up and coming from our hearts more and realizing our connection to our source within us again. And so the golden solar discs I was triggered with in 1981 up in the Himalayas, and they hold the codings of the living library of light that works with the central sun and through the greater central sun, which at our level of understanding, it creates life as we know it on this planet, because as you know, the sun is a massive divine beings of light. Of course, on the physical plane, it's purely gaseous balls or whatever the scientists want to call it. But in the inner planes and in the higher realms of existence, in the multidimensional worlds, it's giving us light and life. And of course, beyond that, we have the central sun, which creates living codes of light that create life as we know it on this realm of existence. So these golden solar discs, which hold these codings, started to get activated all around the world. So I started working with those a lot, traveling a lot, anchoring and activating those. Then there was a solar grid that connected all of those, and that couldn't get activated until 1997 because humanity wasn't ready for that much light. And of course, when you're working in the bigger picture in this way, you have to be very aware of where humanity is at and not to bring in too much light too fast, because it can be counterproductive and draw up too much darkness that people are not able to deal with. So it's all been a very gradual process over the years. And then after the solar grid was all activated and the golden solar discs all around the planet, then nowadays we're working more with the diamond consciousness and the diamond energy, where we're opening up to our multidimensional selves. So again, it's just a little slow process, just like in our own journey of when we slowly wake up and get more conscious. It's the same in the bigger picture with what's happening to us all on this planet.
That is wonderful. You just knew how to work with crystals. You went to the Himalayas and you just knew how to meditate. And then you did see this bigger picture. The golden solar discs, let's go back to that. I find it interesting that you were aware of that in the Himalayas. Is that a remnant of Lemuria?
Yeah, it is. It's sort of like an outpost. I mean, I live in New Zealand, and of course the Pacific is the main part of where ancient Mu was. But at that time, when we were in that civilization, of course, we were very connected. We were able to travel through different star systems, teleport, bilocate, do all those things. But the problem was we were etheric. We were more etheric. And so our lesson is, as you know, is to spiritualize matter and to unify those energies. So in order to do that, we have to come into bodies in the physical plane. But in ancient Lemurian times, the golden solar discs were out and they were utilized and maintained that connection through the sun and the inner earth, through our sun and through the central sun, the greater central sun. And so balance and harmony was kept. So when we did have the big earth changes at the very end time of Mu or Lemuria, it was very traumatic because we didn't know that was going to happen. And in a way that was perfect, because when it all happened, we literally had to get traumatized to get into physical bodies. Because as you know, even in our lives now, if someone is in trauma or if we are in trauma ourselves, we're not able to function very well. It's only when we get through that trauma that we can function a lot more clearly and a lot more focused and be more present in our body. So the golden solar discs that we used in that time kept everything in alignment. And now, because we are coming back into the golden age once more and opening our hearts and doing this through love, and of course these golden solar discs are now becoming more present. There was a physical one that a lot of people may know about that was utilized by the Incas and that was in the Andes and got moved when the Spanish came, because of course they just wanted the power and the control, and the lust for money and gold to them was just a purely material thing. And so at that time the golden solar disc was hidden, and that was the last time that they were utilized outside physically. And that was I've worked with a lot with that one in the Island of the Sun in Lake Titicaca. But of course, they're not ready to come into the physical realm just yet, because of course most of humanity is still vibrating at a lower frequency, where they see gold as a possession rather than understanding that gold is something very spiritual, and it's our connection through our hearts and through the suns and through the source.
So there's some that are not ready to come into a physical realm. Do we know how many?
Well, I used to think I knew how many when I started working with them, but honestly, I mean, I really feel that I don't know. I couldn't tell you how many, because the bottom line is we are the golden solid disc. Okay. I mean, we have that within ourselves. So I don't actually get caught up in numbers. I'm not very good when it comes to all that very head stuff. I just prefer to just allow it to be and not get caught up in that way, because when I first started working with them, I was sort of looking at, how many are there and where are they and all those sorts of things. Mm-hmm. But then you start to realise, when you start to become more into multidimensional ways of looking at stuff, that really it's all unlimited, and how can we even bother to go there with that sort of thinking?
Okay, that's fair enough, really. That does make a lot of sense. And when we talk about the physical one that the Inca used, today even standing in the Coricancha church that the Spanish built on top of this Incan palace, then they still have the holes for that golden sun disk. So if it's an etheric golden sun disk, can you explain more of what's going on with the dimensions? Are we still going to have human bodies moving into these higher dimensions?
Yes, we will. Just going back quickly to the golden solid disc, that one is physical, and there are physical ones, but they're still hidden from most of humanity. But coming into the multidimensional realms of existence, we will be in our physical bodies, because that's the ultimate, is to be in a physical body but be our light body fully. So in this life, I've experienced that physically. I've experienced being my body of light fully in different initiations that I've had, and I know that that is possible for all of us on this planet at this time. I mean, obviously some people don't choose to know about that at the moment, and that's not a problem, because we're all on different parts of the journey. But for those that do choose to, it is totally possible, because we are already our body of light. We're not separate from it, and as we clear ourselves more and we do activations, we can access that energy a lot more fully. I've actually written
For the entire conversation, visit acoustichealth.com and click on Radio Show and register for the 24-show series of healing conversations. I now leave you with music from the universe, literally created by the universe, as musical composer Phil Windsor assigned musical notes to mathematical equations, and the result is this beautiful music. Visit acoustichealth.com.